Hello, and welcome to another time with me. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to pay yourself first. Somebody say it with me, how to pay yourself first. This, as a personal finance master and a coach, there are a lot of tips I give people, ways to become great at their money management, ways to save more, ways to pay off debt, ways to become mindful, all kinds. But if I was to rank all my tips, I would say paying yourself first would be number one thing that you can do to change your finances for the rest of your life. Practicing this singular principle transformed my whole financial landscape forever. I'm telling you, paying yourself first. And so in today's video, a lot of people ask me, okay, Paul, yeah, I get it. How do I do it? They're always confused. Like, oh, I'm already paying my bills. How can I pay myself first? What does that mean? And I try to work with them. So today I want to really delve deep and show you how I would pay myself first if I was starting from scratch, and show you how you can go about it in your finances so that you can be on your way to achieving your financial goals faster and more efficiently. Okay, pay yourself first is really not a term that I came up with at all. I learned it from Robert Kiyosaki. Robert Kiyosaki is like the mentor when it comes to personal finance for me. I really love his style and strategy. And one of the things that struck me about paying yourself first was just the idea that really it's what the rich use to get richer, and if you don't do it, it's why the poor gets poorer and why the middle class stays stuck. Literally, the moment you're able to learn how to pay yourself first, you join the top 1%. Literally, and that's very powerful, very powerful. Robert Kiyosaki says the government already pays themselves by taking out the taxes. Why do you put yourself last by paying your expenses and then saving what is left? And that's why a lot of people save their money today. Basically, paying yourself first is about, how do I put it? It's about taking care of your future you. Your future you could be investment, could be savings, whatever it is. If you want to take care of yourself first before you take care of your other bills, your landlord or your mortgage, your car loan, whatever it is, your daycare, whatever it is, before you pay other bills, you want to earmark an amount first for your own savings, for your own financial goals, for your own future financial freedom. That is the fastest way. And a lot of people, when they want to save money, they usually go about it three ways that I know. One, saving what's left. They pay all their bills, pay their rent, pay their car loan, pay their personal loan, pay whatever loans, pay bills, utilities, and then maybe they have $50 or even $5,000 left savings. So this month, if they have only 5K left, they save it. If next month they have only $2 left, they save it. If maybe upper month they had only $10 left, that's what they save. Zero. The second way people save money too is, oh, by doing all these savings challenges. Oh, let's save maybe they're in a group or or random, or maybe they're like there's an influencer. Oh, let's try to save $1,000 per month this month. Oh, next month let's save 2,000. There's no system. There's no structure. Guess what? When there's no structure, when there's no strategy, when there's no tactic behind a goal, how easy will it be for you to achieve the goal? Very hard, right? Yeah. So people do savings challenges. All this. I'm not saying they're not good, but trust me, they're not the fastest way and they're not the most efficient way for you to really achieve your financial goals. The talk that people talk about is just random. Maybe they say this month I want to save $500, or next one they say, oh, let me try to save $1,000. Right? They assign random numbers to this without any extra influence. They're just like, oh, okay, let me save this month. Okay, I want to save $2,000 this month. Let me see what I can do. Now, what do you think is the common thing among all of these things? They're all saving. That's it. They're all saving money. In fact, some people even do it automatically. Say, oh, this month, let me save $50. They do automatic payments. I laugh when I talk to my students. They're telling me, oh, well, Paul, I'm already saving every month out of my paycheck. I take out 150, or I try to take out $100. I'm like, okay, how do you come up with the savings? Oh, well, you hear things like, oh, well, I did my budgets, I put my expenses, and then whatever was left was about $300. I said, okay, out of that $300, I'll save $100. I laugh. Or you tell me, oh well, Paul, actually I was doing a savings challenge with a friend or with a group of people on Facebook, on Telegram, and I said, oh, let me join them, and that's now, these are all good ideas, but the problem is you are inefficient. You're not going to get to your goals faster. And three, you're not guaranteed to live below your means. Oh, there was a fourth one. There was a fourth one that people used to save. They use percentage. They use maybe like 60, 30, 10% of their income, or they use 65, 35, 10, whatever, all this variation of percentages. Now, those percentages are good, but the problem is they also foster lifestyle inflation. What happens if your income increases and you're already spending 65% of your income on your lifestyle expenses? Does it mean you spend 65% extra? What I mean is, let's say you're already making $10,000 per month, but then you get a new job or you get a promotion that's paying you $15,000 per month. 65% of $10,000 per month is, let me use the round number to make it easy. 60% of, let's say you're spending 60% of your money per month on your utilities, on like necessities, right? You're making $10,000. $10,000, 60% of that is $6,000 per month, right? Which you're spending. Let's say you get a new job that only pays you $15,000 per month. Now, you're currently, remember, you're spending $6,000 already and you're okay. Or I assume you're okay, right? But then your job increases to $15,000. Guess what? 60% of $15,000 is $9,000. What does that mean? That means you are now approved. Let me use that word, approved, to spend an extra $3,000 per month on your income, or sorry, on your lifestyle expenses, which you don't need to do if you didn't have to do it. Does that make sense? So now that 3K that comes into your pocket, you're like, oh well, no, well, let me spend 60%. But guess what? You can actually save the 3K, or you can split the 3K excess and say, maybe I just increase my lifestyle by 1K and save 2K, whatever it is. That's why I say the percent is not a good idea. Also, what happens if you lose your job or your income changes? It's kind of murky. That's why I like to do the zero-based budgeting. And you're lucky today because I'm going to walk you through my spreadsheets, how I go about it, how I go about paying myself first. And I promise you, at the end of this video, you walk away with a transformative, structured, and guaranteed manner for you to achieve your financial goals consistently. If you want to save for your emergency funds, for a down payment of a house, whatever you're trying to do, pay for your debt, become better at money management, if you can learn this key principle, oh, I guarantee you, your life will change for the rest of your life. Okay. Remember, I said this was not my idea. Robert Kiyosaki. I read from his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. But as you know me, I like to take things to the next level. I'm a dog, man. When I'm a beast, I like whatever I learn, whatever I want, whatever I I understand and discover. I want to maximize it. I want to exploit it. I want to try it. And this is a principle I've been practicing for how many years? For a couple of years now. In fact, before I tried this principle, I was struggling to save about $500 to $700 per month. I could barely save $1,000. But once I was able to learn this principle, without even a pay increase or so, I was able to increase my savings like 2 times. This is literally a formula to 10x your savings capability. It's a formula to forever transform the way your finances are set. So, with that said, let's jump right into how to do it. Now, I prepared a spreadsheet. It's very similar to what I do. In fact, this spreadsheet, I charge $50 to my students when they want to buy it. Literally, it's that powerful and expensive for me. But I'm sharing with you guys for free. Spreadsheet that I use for my budget. This is literally my budgeting spreadsheet. Of course, I took out some things to kind of make it easy, but this is literally how I make my budgets. Excel. I create a tab. This is showing November 2024. You can update it to whatever you want to do, maybe 2025, or you can make it to whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do, change the dates. But this is literally how I go about my budgeting. This is it. And I took out the numbers, but this is how you start first. And this is one of the number one mistakes people make. When they get their paychecks, or they don't even know if they're benchmarking their budget on their net income or their gross income. Don't laugh. I'm telling you, I know people that budget their money based on gross income, and because they don't make that gross income in their net income, they end up living on credit cards or loans because they figured out, well, I make $100,000, so I can spend up to $8,000 per month. No, got to think about taxes, benefits, insurance, maybe time off, maybe whatever you're paying, and you might end up bringing in $6,000 per month or even 5K per month, depending if you're married, if you have kids, if you're single, depending on your tax status, your net income will change. So the number one step that I want you to focus on as you try to work with me here to pay yourself first is get clear on your spending and earning power. Say it with me, spending and earning power. Your spending power is your net income. Your earning is your gross income. You never want to benchmark your finances on your earning power, always on your spending. That's what you can spend because that's the amount that makes it to your bank. That's the amount that eats your checking account. So in this example, let's just assume that I am making $10,000. I'll just put it here. Spending power. Actually, no. On my budget sheet, I have a place here that I put it in cash. I put it here. Let's just say $10,000 per month is my paycheck. I get paid bi-weekly. Let's say I get paid $5,000 for an example per month, right? That means I have a 10K cash. That's how much comes to my account. This is literally my budget. I have a forecasted amount where I forecast how much I want to spend per category. This should be actually titled category. Many of you have followed me know that I love to use category spending. All these laundry lists, like grocery run, this is I just have the breakdown. But from a high level, I want to be able to zoom in and also like zoom out if I have to zoom out to really understand my budgeting and to see what's working for me. So under my category, I have my rent, I have my utilities. You can increase the categories. I have my grocery, I have my phone bill, I have my car, gas for my car, I have my church. I go to church on Sundays, church trips. Different from that, I have my tithes. I put home goods, date time with my wife, and I put miscellaneous expenses, car insurance, and then I put the total spend. Now, some people can increase this, right? Depending, it's not hard and fast, but you can put. I'm just saying, some people maybe don't want to separate, you know, don't want to put out daycare. Maybe pay daycare. I'm just an example. Maybe you pay. What else again can I put here? Maybe make a car payment. It's an expense right there, right? You can put it there. I don't have any debts right now, so I just put it there. You can put like maybe debts, or you could put car payments, or you could put credit card, whatever it is you want to put here, right? Just put it there. And this is fluid. One of the things you never want to do with a budget is just make it static. No, it's fluid, it's dynamic. You want to be able to adapt to your spending patterns. You want to see, okay, this month I didn't have any debt payments. Okay, take it zero. So now this is where people get it wrong. They already have all their bills, they start putting amounts, maybe 1.5, start putting $5,000 for utilities, they put in 400, whatever it is they put in there, and then that's how they now say, oh, let me now add this up and then see. No, that's the wrong issue. You don't want to do that. That's where it gets murky. To pay yourself first, you want to look at your spending power and say, okay, how much cash do I bring in? $10,000. This is why I need you to be honest with yourself. Now ask yourself, of this $10,000, how much can I save per month? But guess what? To determine that amount, the easiest way to be honest with yourself, have financial goals. Say it with me, financial goals. What are you working towards? Down payments, maybe pay off your debt, down payment for a house, maybe pay off your debts, maybe emergency funds, maybe for a wedding that you're trying to have, maybe you're trying to renovate your house, whatever it is. And the beauty about the budgets, you can always split your finances. You can always change them as your spending changes, maybe your income increases, you can always increase your savings. Now, for me now, let's just give an example. I'll give you a crash course on my financial goal system. Let's say I want to save $30,000 for my emergency funds, and I'm just starting out. Maybe I'm a new college graduate, or I just finished paying off my debts, and I don't have any savings. Next thing I want to do is I want to get clear on how many months I want to get that 30K set up for. So I'm going to ask myself, 30K, I want to be able to have 30K at least by the end of the year, or 12 months time. Easy, right? Guess what I do? I just divide it. I just do a quick analysis here. $30,000 divided by 12. That gives me $2,500 per month. Boom. You see how easy that was? Now I know at the minimum to pay myself first, I need to save $2,500. But see, that's not enough because you don't think about you're saving $2,500 for paying yourself first. You still think about, okay, apart from paying myself first, I need to also have some wiggle room, maybe for vacation, right? Maybe you want to travel for vacation. Maybe you want to do some things to chill out that is not your monthly budget. Maybe you have like some bucket lists. Maybe you want to do the edge work, like what is behind me. Maybe you're planning to do a cruise. You also want to go on a cruise, or you're planning to do a tour, whatever it is. Think about it. Like, you know what? Summer is coming. I want to spend an extra $1,000, or I want to spend an extra. Just give yourself and say, you know what? So even though I'm saving 2,500, I think I might need about an extra, let's just say, I don't know, just give an example again, an extra $5,000 for set aside for my lifestyle, right? So 5K is what? Divided by 12. That brings us to 416. Let's use around figure. Let's say $6,000. So it becomes easy for you to mathematics. That means I need to save at least, you see that, $3,000 per month. You see how now begin to pay yourself first? That's the number one thing you start doing. Don't go about and start saying, oh, let me calculate how much my rent is, my utilities. I know you're gonna ask me, oh, but Paul, I'm already paying rent, right? I'm already paying my mortgage, I'm already paying my daycare. I know we're gonna come to that. But that's the number one thing you want to do. You want to get clear on your financial goals. Like, what are my goals that I'm working towards? What am I working towards? So, in a year, I know I have to save for my emergency fund for 1 year. I know this year I want to go out on vacation, or I want to take a break. Maybe you also want to think about, maybe you want to give to your church. Maybe you want to give to your local charity. You say, I'd like to give at least $3,000 to my charity this year. Boom. Guess what again? You do another one, I say $3,000 divided by 12, that brings $250. So that means in a month, you want to save at least $3,250. Let us pause there for a minute. Do you know what is happening right now? You are forcing yourself to live below your means. If you want to beat lifestyle inflation, if you want to live below your means consistently, if you want to avoid overspending, if you want to avoid overdrafting, this is the way, guys. This is the way. I'm telling you, this will change your finances, your personal finance game, your money management game forever. This is how you go about it. You start thinking to yourself, what goals do I have to achieve? And so you work backward by paying yourself first. Another example, maybe you think, you know what, 250 is good, but I had an idea. One of my friends said he's trying to launch a startup and I would like to invest in him. Start thinking, I'd like to invest in him in next 1 year, maybe give him $15,000 for equity in his business. Maybe I want to get 25% equity in his business. $15,000 divided by 12. You see how much? 1250. Now you're like, okay, I think that's enough for him right now. You say, okay, not right now I'm at $4,500. Huh. Okay, I bring in $10,000. I want to pay myself first $4,500 per month. Now you can tell me, "But this is crazy. This is too much. How am I going to pay my rent?" I know that's what you just start thinking with your mind. But this is the idea. You want to avoid overspending. You don't want to you don't want to live within your means. Never. Talk less of living above your means. Nope. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that at all. So this is how you start your financial game. I'm telling you, this is the same system that I used to become debt free. I paid off over $60,000 in debt in under 1 year. Crazy. I was able to save over $70,000 savings in about 16 months. I was able to take on vacations, lavish trips easily with this system. To make it interesting, because I pay myself first, my wife, sometime last year, my wife, who happens to earn tens of thousands of dollars more than me, I'm talking not 10, not 20, not 30, not 40,000. She's earning more than me. She took off work for 3 months, unpaid leave due to family emergency. Guess what? We didn't have to go into debt to cover the bills. We were able to pay the bills easily because we always paid ourselves first. So when I tell you this method is very powerful, you gotta believe me, man. You gotta believe me. You gotta believe me. So look at this now. So now we are clear on how much we want to pay ourselves first. Guess what? Now we are at what? $4,500. So this one not coming as surplus. I put it here, $4,500. Now that leaves me with how much? Oh, I forgot to put a tab here. That leaves me with, I like to color code it, so let me put this above. And you don't have to be like an Excel guru. You can learn basic Excel on YouTube for free, like 3 hours to learn how to do a budget using Excel. Have your forecasted, have your breakdown, have your actual, have your difference. Now, this is not a budgeting class, but we need to have a budget, of course. Mind that's like confirming your mind. Like you can't even pay yourself first without having a budget. It's not possible. So let's put a cash here, got a deficit or surplus, and we're gonna put left. So this will be how much? 10,000 minus this $5,500. This is how much I can spend every month. You see now? You see how that number came down to 55. But guess what? You are going to save every month $4,500. Sounds crazy, but this is how if you want to start cutting your costs, this is the fastest and best way to do. You have to get specific. You have to think. Remember, I said, be honest with yourself. You see, at the end of the day, when people come to me for help, I cannot help you if you're not honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself and say, what do I care about? What are my goals? Don't say, oh yeah, I want to be drinking Starbucks. It's okay. Drink Starbucks every morning, afternoon, evening. I support you. You want to buy a Mercedes Benz? I support you. Do whatever you want to do. However, you have to understand that you must do it only after you have paid yourself first. Pay yourself for PYF. Always remember that every month. All right. So you know what we're going to do now? So now we are left with $500. We know that we have to spend only $5,500 every month. My question for you: if you know that in a month you only have to spend $5,500 in order to be under budget, in order to achieve your financial goals, in order to avoid overspending, what do you start doing? Do you see now? Right, right. You start to allocate your money based on that amount. Now you start thinking, oh no, I don't have 10K to put on rent. I'm not gonna. So now those lavish houses that you see, or lavish apartments that you see, that like 3.5, $4,500 for 2, 3 bedroom with 2 bathroom, chandelier. Now it's all good. It's all good. Now this is why I tell people. People tell me, oh, Paul, what should I cut? I can't tell you what cost to cut. No, my job is to guide you into determining what cost that fits your budget. So now for me, I'll say, okay, I only have $5,500 to work with. Let me think about it. Rent, let me put like $1,500 for forecasted. My utilities, I don't want to spend more than $300 per month of utilities. Now you see, I put it here like this trash, and this is where you have to break down. You have to break down, right? Maybe trash, internet, electric, water. Maybe you pay for cleaning. I don't know. Just say maybe for cleaning, whatever it is, you want to always put your actual, you want to put your forecasted amount, your forecasted. You have to start with the baseline. Be honest with yourself. Daycare, oh, I have 2 kids in daycare that cost me $600 per child, $1,200. You see, it's already coming. So I got to sum it up. Total spend here. You got to put a total spend here and do a sum. Oops. Yeah, B14, B2 to B14. Yep. Very good. You see now, you start looking at your spending. It's already at $3,000. You're like, gotta take out my grocery. Do you have a car? Maybe I have a car payment. I don't know. Maybe I have a car payment. You're paying $400 per month. Now you look at your grocery. Huh? How much do I have left? This is how you do it. This is how literally I do it. I spent $3,400. Huh? And I can only go up to 4.5. Sorry, 5.5. That's what I can go up to. So guess what I'm thinking, man? What do I do next? I'm already at $4,000. This is why it's important. And I know you're gonna tell me, but Paul, this is not possible because I'm already living in the house with I'm paying $1,200. I'm already having two car payments or I'm taking, we're gonna come to that, right? But let's look at this. Work with me. Grocery, you say, family of two, family of four, let's say $1,000. And then you think, well, I mean, we buy from well, I shop a lot from Walmart, a lot from I would say about 85% of my shopping comes from Walmart. The only thing my wife buys from that is not from Walmart are like maybe seafood or meat or fish, something in that area. Like anything that comes like produce slash like meat or chicken. She probably go like Ingles. That's why you like. That's why it's like Ingles here. Probably like Ingles, like a fresh market or whatever she wants to do. Right. So look at that. $1,000 for grocery. I'm at right now. I'm at how much? $4,400. I start thinking, okay, now my phone bill. I want probably want to pay $100 for my phone bill. Gas for my work to work and back. Maybe like $300. I go to church. Again, you can update this as you want. Let's say my church travel is $300 also because I drive 5 hours every Sunday. I pay tithes of I'm a Christian. I pay tithes. I pay 10% of whatever at the minimum of 10% of whatever I earn. But for this purpose, let's just say $1,000, right? Home goods. I like to separate home goods from groceries only because it gives me a clear picture of how much I'm spending on food. Some people like to also separate eating out from grocery. It depends on how you want. Whatever will make you clear on your finances, that's good by me, right? Just do what works for you. Then you do that. Let's say home goods, $100. You're not thinking, man, did time out with my wife. This sounds spend 350. I like to have a bucket for miscellaneous expenses because they will come up. Sometimes they don't come up, but more often than not, they will come up. So I put like 200. Now, as you can see, I've stopped checking my balance, right? Because there's a purpose. Of course, I have a car insurance. What am I going to put for my car insurance? I put 150. So guess what now? I'm spending $6,900. Ooh, that is above my what? $5,500 threshold. So what do I do now? I say, man, I'm down. What do I do? I like to actually, you know what? I mix this up. Let me change this because this is an error from me. Sorry. This should have been my deficit surplus is actually my. Let me change this actually. Yeah, actually, let's see. This is an error. Let's see. So what happens is actually I'll put this should be my deficit surplus and then this will be my pay yourself first. That's what I have. So my deficit and surplus would be my whatever is left minus my total spend. So as you can see, I have a deficit and surplus. I have a deficit, not a surplus. I'm currently right now in the red of $1,400. Now, this is scenario one. Scenario one could be maybe by the time you finish paying yourself first, you're in the red. Scenario two could be after you finish paying yourself first, you're breaking even. Scenario three could be after you finish paying yourself first, you still have some surplus left. That's where I want you to get to. That's where the personal finance masters sit. That's where the rich always strive to get to. Even after they've paid themselves first, they still want to be able to have some surplus after. It's the principle of being disciplined and living below your means. Now, let me ask you a question. In this case, what would most of you do? What you do? You probably what? cut down your pay yourself first, right? Even a lot of you do cut down your pay yourself first. Or like someone that I just recently was working with, you know what she did? She said, okay, well, I'll put the rest on credit card. No, ma'am, you don't do that. And to you that said you want to reduce your pay yourself first, no, don't do that. Instead, start thinking to yourself, I'm right now out by $1,400. Remember how you came up with this money, right? So something you thought about, like these are your goals. Oh, remember these are your goals, right? You put some goals here. Let's just put it for an example. You can also put this in a separate tab or like in a separate sheet, whatever it is. Remember we said, investment in a friend. This is charity. This was, I think, vacation or enjoyment. And then this is how much. This was like emergency funds. So this money has a purpose. This is where you now get great at cutting your costs. You start thinking instead of you to before you go into reducing your pay yourself first amount. Start thinking to yourself, how can I come up with $1,400 to cut out here? It's simple. Start thinking to yourself, what can I do? Can you cut maybe your rent? Okay, you already having the rent. Maybe have a roommate. Think about. I don't know. You can think, oh, that's us. I don't know. See, do you know that there was a time when I used to share a room with a friend of mine that was 300 square foot? I couldn't even afford to pay rent. Now I live in a 1,200 square foot apartment. This is a temporary. Things were hard for me then. So let's look at this, right? You can say, maybe if I get a roommate, I can lower my rent by half, or maybe by that, I don't know. Or you could say, no, I don't want a roommate. This is what I want you to think about. I won't tell you what to cut. You might think, oh, okay, maybe let me see. Okay, I have a car in my grocery. Huh? Maybe I should reduce the grocery by what? $200. You see that your goal is to what? Get to at least zero here in your surplus. Get to zero in your surplus. And you want to get to zero in this column 6, in this row 16, so that you can pay yourself first consistently. Now you think, daytime, I don't know if I want to be entertaining myself. You see, yeah, I have Xbox, I put movies, I could cook out. Let me put it to $100 temporarily. Let's see how it goes. Okay, my tithes. I'm a Christian. I don't cut down my tithes. Maybe my church trips. Okay, my car gas. Maybe instead of maybe driving or speeding, or maybe you can carpool, take the bus. Let me see if I can reduce this by $150. You see how you're working now to lower your phone, your bills. You see that this is how you cut costs. Don't just go like, oh, let me cut my Starbucks. Let me, you have to be strategic. You have to have a game plan. This is how I was able to cut close to $6,000 last year in my expenses, because I said to myself, I need to come up with a way to cut at least 5 to 6K my expenses. Guess what I started doing? I divided it by 12 months, which gave me about $400 per month. Then I started going to my budget. How can I cut this money? How can I cut this? How can I cut this? See, you see how before we were how much? $1,200. Now we're at how much? 800. I know. Now pause for a moment. Think. What if you just say, oh well, okay, I'm already above budget. Let me go and cut down my PSL first. No, that's not good. You still want to think, okay, after you have done all, you want to think, okay, what can I cut? Okay, I've cut my daytime, home goods. I don't want to be too thin. My car gas and my phone bill. Or maybe I could find a cheaper, or maybe I could find a cheaper phone line to do a family plan, $50. That's something, right? Then you think to yourself, man, whew, utilities, maybe I could squeeze it in. Or you want to think about now, you now have the choice of two things. Do you cut your costs by $750 more dollars, or you can say, let me reduce my pay yourself first. This is a choice you have to make yourself. I can't make it for you. But you see, you have to be honest with yourself. Maybe you have gotten to a point like, yeah, I can't compromise on my rent. I need my space. Yeah, I have two kids. My kids need some space. I gotta put, I gotta pay my car payments or the debts I have. I gotta feed my kids. I already got my phone bill. I already got my gas. Yeah, I can't do this anymore. Guess this is now when I say, okay, let me reduce my pay myself first, right? Maybe you now come and say, you know what? Maybe instead of 12 months for my emergency funds, let me make it how much? 16 months to bring my monthly payments down. Maybe instead of going on vacation for $6,000, maybe instead of spending 6,000, I say this month I can only afford to just do like a staycation or a shorter cruise or something like that. Let me put, let me just plan to do something small this summer. And I'm telling you guys, you will not. Let me tell you a fun fact. When I got married, because we were tight on money, I wasn't working, I was in debt, I was struggling financially, could not afford vacations. In fact, I remember my wife was so keen that we should do some at least do something at least. And then she said, okay, let's even go to Maine. Then we were living in Massachusetts. Let's go to Maine. We went to Maine for for 2 days. That's all we could afford. 2 days in Maine on the beach. We didn't go to we were on the beach, but we had to go after Labor Day because it was cheaper and the weather was a little bit cooler, like chilly. So it was cheaper. That's what we could afford years ago. But guess what now? We fly out to Maui, we fly out to Kanapali Beach a couple of days time. This time shall pass. So when people tell me, oh, I don't want to suffer, it's okay. It's temporary. We couldn't go on vacation. Now we've flown to now we're flying to Maui, we've flown to Palm Beach, we've gone on Disney exclusive cruises, we've gone to crystal clear waters, been in Mexico. Where else? Now we're going to Kanapali Beach. In the fall, we plan to be up in Boston. In Christmas, we're thinking of doing one more trip again. The time to enjoy your money is going to come. If you are currently trying to achieve your financial goals, you want to try your best to suffer a little while. It's okay. So you might say, you know what? I don't need a 6K trip. Maybe I'll just do like a smaller trip, right? Maybe do a smaller trip. Probably do, you know what? Let me do 3K, right? I know you would think, oh, but Paul, that actually reduces my. I know I'm coming to you. I say, you know, what? Now that I got my trip, let's see, from 4.5, I'm at 36.25. Okay, okay, let me see. Maybe I can get my emergency funds a little bit because I need this money quickly. So guess what? You put it back to 12 months, and then you know what next you do? You're now at $42.50. You put it in here and say what? 42.50 is your new amount. You see how the money now changes? You now have how much left? $57.50 to spend. And because you have this amount left, you know what you do now? Oh, actually, you didn't. No, no, this is not what I was looking at for. Oh, pay yourself first. Yeah, yeah. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. I think I got carried away. Let's do the mathematics again. So total spend is 62.50. Okay, right now I'm at $500. But I thought I was at 400 before. So my total spend is 62.50, which makes sense. My pay yourself yeah. So pay yourself first changed. Let's see. Yeah. So let me say, you know what, I need to cut this down. Maybe this is more realistic. Maybe I say, you know what, let me take away my guy here and reduce my spending and say, you know, let me make it 16 months. So instead of save 18.75 per month, I probably say, you know, let me lower this. Or you could say, let me do something. Maybe say this year I'll give my charity. So instead, I'll be left with how much per month now? 33.75. So you know what you come back here and do? You load your payment first and then you say no, and now you're on what? You're on a green. That's it. This is literally what I do to myself. And I know you can tell me it takes time. Of course, nothing good you have, it takes time. Let me ask you, are you married? Do you have kids? Oh, are you working? Are you making money? Do you have a hobby? None of those things come to you easily, right? They take time. You have to go to work, you gotta wake up early, you gotta go stick with if you have a horrible boss or horrible teammates, you stick with them for 8 hours, 10 hours of the day. If you have kids, it takes time, right? You got to take them showers, feed them, clothe them, drop them at school. What do you like to do? Do you like to cook? Do you like to go to the gym? It takes time, right? You got to wake up in the morning, wake up to the gym. So have the same mindset towards the finances. That's what I'm saying. Have the same mindset towards the finances, guys. Have that same mindset. That's the only way you can achieve financial freedom. That's the only way you can get started on your way to becoming a personal finance master. You see how we did that magic, right? Magic to get to the amount. And so now you move from paying yourself first at $4,500 to what? 3375. Now you have some surplus, right? You can choose to either say, you know what, let me increase my budget, or let me just wait and see. This is how much I like to, this amount here, I like to leave it in my bank account. I have like three accounts. One for my bills, you should have three accounts. One for your bills, one for your, sorry, two accounts. One for your bills, one for your savings. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. One for your bills, one for your, that's what I have, two accounts. My bills, instead of me putting this amount in savings, I'll just leave it in my bills because it's part of my upkeep. I'll just leave it in case. And so if after every month I have an excess, I can move it to my savings. Things will come up. Or I could say, you know what? Of this 375, I think I can take out an extra 125 towards paying myself first, just because you want to live below your means. Remember, your goal is not to spend more all you have. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should do it. So guess what you do? And so now you're paying yourself first $3,500 per month. This is how you achieve your goals. Now, this is where the questions are coming. Oh, but Paul, I'm already paying my rent. How can I pay I pay my rent on the first of the month? I pay my house mortgage on the second. I pay my car bill, my daycare. I get it. When I say pay yourself first, the idea here is not that the first things first you should, when your paycheck comes in, take it out. You can take it out from your paycheck in your head. Now, let me tell you this. If you get paid bi-weekly, maybe the first 15 days of the month, you got to pay your bills right. Maybe you got to do grocery. By the time you pay your rent, you do your daycare, you do your grocery for the half of the month, you're already there, right? By the time you maybe pay your tithes, you're already there. So you can't really save much. That's okay. The idea here is regardless of your expenses, you want to always end the month with how much, guys? Say it again with me. $3,500. You want to always end the month with $3,500 in your savings account. Now, this is how much you can put to what? This is how much you can. Oops. This is how much you can put to what? Towards your savings, guys. Pay yourself first. Now, it can even, this money can be made to your account on the 31st of the month. It don't matter, because the idea of paying yourself first is you already earmarked an amount for your future self before taking care of your bills. And because your bills already is 6250, you don't have to worry about paying yourself first, because you know that at the end of the month, regardless, you're going to end it with at least $3,500 in your account. And so if you can only afford to take out the $3,500 in your account by the second paycheck, that's fine. Once the money comes to your account, move it away to your savings account. And that's it. The last secret, you have to be consistent. People that struggle with this, you know what they do? This month, they are faithful. Next month, next month, I can't do it. Maybe, oh, I had a wedding that came up. Oh, I had a friend that was getting their birthday done. Oh, I had a baby shower. I understand that life happens. That's why you have the miscellaneous expenses, and you also have this little surplus. Remember, I said keep the surplus. This is why it's important. This is why you need the surplus, because now you know what you can do when things happen quick overspending, or maybe you overspend. Maybe you had a guest to come to your house for 2 weeks. Maybe your brother came to visit you and you have to feed them, and so your budget goes higher than that every month. That's every month. Every time you spend, track it. Track it. So you put here the actual amount, and then I like to do, maybe utilities. This is what. Let's look at it. 35 plus 55 plus 66 plus 19. Oh, look at that. I came below. Now let's look at the difference. So I tell people every time, your forecasted should never be below your actual, ideally. Then you actually do the same thing across the board. Oops. See that right there, guys? This is how you do it, man. This is how you become debt free. And so by the end of the month, you are coming down how much, maybe the same surplus or even less. Maybe in a month, maybe you traveled, maybe you want to go and see your mom and your daddy and your parents fed you, and then your grocery, instead of spending $800, you spent how much? $600. Got a little what surplus there, guys. And then you pay a car payment, it's 400, daycare, maybe your child, I don't know, I'm just saying, I don't know how daycare works, I don't have kids yet, or maybe this is fixed. And then you start looking at that. You see that right now? You see that, guys? Then for your cash, maybe you're on vacation 1 week, you don't spend the money that month, and then instead of spending $150 on gas, you actually spend up how much? You actually spend $50. It's a win for you. And this is how you become financially free consistently. Always remember that consistency is the name of the game. You have to be consistent, guys. You have to be consistent. That's it, guys. And then every month, you pay yourself $3,500. You see how pay yourself first works? You become creative. But if the amount with which you are trying to live on is too small, you start getting creative. Or you start thinking, how can I increase my income? Because you have to think about paying yourself first like your oxygen. You know how in the airplane they tell you to save yourself first, like make sure you're okay before you help the other person. That's how you should do it. Pay yourself first. Before you go and cut any other costs, before you pay any other bills, pay yourself first, guys. Don't go pay your landlord, your phone bill, your groceries, or even your entertainment or Netflix, whatever it is. You also see, I didn't even tell you to cut. I didn't tell you to cut maybe food. It's just up to you. The way to cut your costs is to be strategic and have a goal in mind. With that said, let's look at what next steps look like, right? You start thinking about what your financial goals. When you finish your financial goals, maybe for 12 months, guess 16 months, guess what? You set another goal. And then you think to yourself, okay, now maybe instead of now you got your emergency fund saved up, like maybe this year I want to treat myself. I've been working hard. I've been disciplining my finances for 2 years. I didn't. You can say, you know what? No more emergency funds because I'm good to go. The money from the emergency funds cannot be used towards vacation or charity. You can say, you know what? This I want to go now, man. I've stopped. You know what? I'm gonna take 3 trips, 10K for this year, right? You say, you know what? Instead of doing emergency funds, let me start working towards what? Maybe a house down payments. Let's say you want to save $50,000 for your house payments. You want to buy a house in the next 3 years. Let's just say, I don't know, or 2 years, or 4 years, whatever it is. I'm just saying. Let's say 2.5 years. That's 30 months, right? Now you turn it towards house payments. You say your goals now begin to change. Now you're saving $37.50 because but this 37.50, 833 is for your chilling. So in reality, you're already putting yourself first for your future goals. How much? $23,000 basically. This is how it works, and then you got to keep changing it as you grow. As you reach one goal, you knock it off onto the next one. Reach the goal, knock it off to the next one. Okay. All right, guys. I'm going to stop sharing right now. This is literally my secrets. I'm telling you, what I'm showing you here has the power to change your life forever. I'm telling you, your creativity will change. You start thinking, should I increase my income? Should I cut my costs? You will always live below your means. This is what I used to save over. I was able to save about almost like 5K per month back then. I'm telling you, it was crazy. I was like, no, I'm gonna go gongo on my debts, and after I paid off my debts, I'm gonna go gongo on my goals. I'm telling you guys, paying yourself first is a singular principle that I used to achieve financial freedom, and I'm using to currently help myself become better. So today, as I'm watching this video, think to yourself, every time you get paid, ask yourself a couple of questions. Am I benchmarking my money on my spending or earning power? Number two, am I paying myself first? Number three, am I consistent? Consistency, guys, consistency. Consistency is the key. Number four, always set financial goals. Don't just say, well, I've got my emergency fund set up, I should be good. No, what next? Maybe invest in stocks, because guess what? If you don't use that money for something else, the money will go to something else. That's it. Instead of wondering where money is going to, you can what? You can tell your money where to go to. And that's how, guys, you'll begin the journey to becoming financially free and becoming a personal finance master. All right, I'm going to end right here. Thank you for sticking with me to this period of time. I hope you learned a lot. Please ask me questions. If you have any questions, have any comments, put in the chat. Any concerns, let me know. Until next time, bye for now. Remember to subscribe if you've not yet subscribed. See you on the other side. Bye.